I'm in my husband's car. Found an open bottle of lubricant. I didn't cry or make a scene. It was just that devil pepper liquid was injected into it. But what I didn't expect was, it was my daughter's teacher who ended up in the hospital. I've never thought about taking revenge on a man who cheated on me. Just one bottle of lubricant with devil glue added to it. My name is Li Qing, 32 years old this year. I've been married to Sun Hao for 7 years. Our daughter Yoeu has just started middle class in kindergarten. In the eyes of others, we're the most typical kind of people. A middle-class family living a down-to-earth life. Sun Hao works as a project manager at a state-owned enterprise. Gentle personality. I work in finance at a foreign company. Although the days are mundane, but it's still pretty stable. I thought, we'll just stay together quietly like this until old age. Until that Saturday afternoon. That day, Sun Hao took Yoeu to the amusement park. While I was at home, I thought I'd take the opportunity to clean the car in the driveway. He usually doesn't let me sit in the passenger seat in his car. The storage boxes are always locked as well. But for some reason, I don't know why that day, that storage box isn't locked. A slight crack has appeared. I just wanted to find a pack of wet wipes at that time. Go and wipe the dust off the dashboard. But when I opened the storage box, when you extend your hand to the very inside, previously I encountered something cold. Things made of soft plastic. That's a bottle that's already been opened. Lubricant in pink packaging. Strawberry flavored. It's a bit stuffy in the car. Holding that bottle of lubricant in my hand. It's so sticky that it's disgusting. I've had very little sexual activity with my spouse in recent years. We've long since stopped using things like this. Besides, why would this thing be in the car in the first place? Also opened it. Half a bottle missing. My hands started to tremble uncontrollably. There's a buzzing sound in my ears. The sunlight outside the car window was so bright that it hurt my eyes. I feel like myself, like a fool who's been hit in the head with a stick. Those nights that were recently added as calculated, those project-related social engagements he used as excuses. In this very moment, all the answers are here. He cheated on me. This perception is like a dull knife. A wound was ripped open right in my chest. It doesn't bleed, but the pain is so severe I can barely breathe. At that moment, I really wanted to get rid of that bottle right away. Hit Sun Hao in the face, grabbing him by the collar and asking why. But I took a deep breath. A deep wound was ripped open in my chest. I work in finance. Professional habits have taught me this. Until solid evidence is obtained, breaking off relations only puts oneself at a disadvantage. Sun Hao is a person who cares deeply about face and is very meticulous in his thinking. If I question him now, he'll definitely come up with all kinds of excuses. For example, lending the car to a colleague. They might even quickly destroy any evidence, then bite back in retaliation, saying I'm too suspicious. It's reasonable that I shouldn't alert them by making a noise. I put the lubricant back in its original place. Lock the storage box. Pretend like nothing happened. That night, Sun Hao brought Yoeu back with him. He smiled at me as usual and said, "Wife." Today, Yoeu had a great time at the amusement park. I couldn't sleep that night. I'm lying on this side of the bed, listening to Sun Hao's steady breathing beside me. In the darkness, my eyes were wide open. A near-pathological level of anger and resentment. It's growing wildly in my heart. I don't want to let him get away so easily. I also don't want to silently remain a victim. Since he craves excitement, then I'll give him an unforgettable thrill for life. The next day, after Sun Hao went to work, I took half a day off. That level of spiciness. It's said that even a slight touch to the skin can cause redness, swelling, and burning. Not to mention that particular area at all. After receiving the package, I used a syringe to draw out most of the concentrated chili sauce from the bottle. Then take that strawberry-flavored lubricant from Sun Hao's car. Taken out. I'm being very careful. Pour the chili water into the lubricant. Then shake wildly, until they merged perfectly together. When putting it back in the car again, I stared at that pink-colored liquid. A twisted smile even appeared on the corners of his mouth. Sun Hao, don't you like finding something new in the car? Then enjoy it to the fullest. The next few days. The days are eerily peaceful. I cook and take care of the kids as usual every day, then go to work. Watching him hold his phone every night. Looking at him, that sweet smile that occasionally appears on their face, I watch from a distance coldly. Like a patient hunter, quietly waiting for the moment when the trap is stepped on. Finally, it's Thursday night. While having dinner, Sun Hao's phone vibrated. He glanced at the screen. She put down her chopsticks in a somewhat unnatural manner. Say, wife, to me. There's an emergency meeting with the department tonight. It might take until very late to finish. You and Yoayu go to sleep first. Don't wait for me. Sun Hao crouched down, kissed Yoayu on the face. The voice said gently, Yoayu, be good. Dad will be back after the meeting. Tomorrow, Dad will take you to get ice cream. Okay? Watching this scene, a hint of self-mockery flashed through my mind. How ironic. He gave all his tenderness, left it all to my daughter and the woman outside. Yet they spread the dirtiest lies and acts of betrayal, left for this home. The moment the door closed, I glanced at my watch. 7:40 p.m., I know.
Tonight?
That bottle of lubricant will probably come in handy. Today he took a bath on purpose. Shaved my beard. I even sprayed perfume before going out. 11 p.m. I put Yoayu to sleep. I'm sitting in the living room. The lights aren't on. In the darkness, only the blue light from the phone screen was visible. Time passes by, second by second. There's a complicated, twisted kind of excitement in my heart. But it's more of a suffocating kind of sadness. I know. Our 7-year marriage comes to an end tonight. 1:40 a.m., my phone suddenly. It started to vibrate violently. Hello, is this a family member of Sun Hao? The voice of a young man came through. Your spouse is at our hospital's emergency department. His situation is very urgent right now. Please come over immediately to sign and make the payment. The emergency room in the dead of night. There's always a certain atmosphere pervading the place. The pungent smell of disinfectant mixed with cold air. I found the nurse's station among the noisy crowd. Nurse, I'm a family member of Sun Hao. The nurse glanced at me. A strange glint flashed in their eyes.
He pointed to the observation room at the end of the hallway.
Inside it, the doctor is providing emergency treatment. Go and pay the fee first. Both people have to pay. They didn't bring enough money when they delivered it. The situation is pretty... I walked up to the ATM with the payment slip in hand. When I saw another name written on the list, my mind went completely blank for a moment. The patient's name on that form was Chun Meng, the kind-hearted homeroom teacher. That person who's always polite in the parent group. Every day after school, I hold Yuayu's hand. Teacher Chun, who listens to his mother. He's only 24 years old. Just 2 years since graduating from college. Teacher Chun, Yoayu's favorite teacher. I've paid the fee. Step by step, as if weighed down with lead, walking towards the entrance of the observation room. Push open that door. The cries and moans inside, immediately enlarged several times. Sun Hao was lying on the left hospital bed. Pale as a ghost, cold sweat broke out all over my body. His lower body was covered with a green sterile drape. The entire person was curled up into a ball, letting out painful moans like a wild animal on its deathbed. He saw me come in. Eyes suddenly widened, the face originally contorted with pain. In that moment, extreme terror and shame mixed together. And the woman on the bed on the right. Wrapped myself tightly in the blanket. Teacher Chun, I'm going over there. Standing between 2 hospital beds. The voice was so calm that it scared me myself. In that moment, the air seemed to freeze. Chun Meng didn't lift her head. He just pulled the blanket tighter. The crying gets louder and louder. The shoulders were shaking violently. Honey, Sun Hao struggled to sit up. But it hurt so much that I have to grit my teeth in pain. Gasped in shock. Things aren't like you think they are. Listen to my explanation. Explain what? I watched him. The tone is completely flat, with no variations at all. Explain why you're up in the middle of the night. In my car. Using my car to do such shameful things. Still, explain why in the end. You'll go to the hospital together. At this moment, the doctor in charge of the treatment came in, carrying the medical records. He glanced at us. Sighed. Just call me a family member. The situation is a bit complicated. Your husband and this female patient, because some kind of method was used. Unknown liquid with extremely strong irritancy, caused severe chemical burns. Severe congestion of the male urethral mucosa and local skin. There are slight signs of necrosis in the redness and swelling. It's possible that it could affect physiological functions in the long term. The woman's condition is slightly better, but large areas of the skin were also severely burned. Need to rest in bed. Sun Hao heard the words affecting physiological functions. The complexion has changed from white to green. Keep my eyes tightly closed. Tears of regret streamed from the corners of his eyes. After the doctor left, there were only the three of us left in the observation room. I looked at those two people lying in the hospital beds. One is my husband, with whom I've shared a bed for 7 years. One is the teacher who greets me with a smile every day. They lie here, like two animals that have had their skins peeled off. Insects struggling in salt water. Ugly, messy, and disgusting. Teacher Chun, you don't need to hide. I walked over. He yanked open his blanket in one pull. He stared at me in terror. It's like looking at a devil. Sis, I was wrong. Chun Ming cried, trying to beg me for mercy. But as soon as he moved slightly, the pain all over his body made him curl up in agony. I looked at him coldly and said, because I can. Just provide the police report from tonight. Hospital diagnosis certificate. And also, pack up the evidence of you guys fooling around in the car. Send it to the parents group. Teacher Chun, what do you think those parents would feel after seeing these things? Will you still continue to teach their children? Chun Meng collapsed. He ignored the severe pain in his body, crying loudly on the hospital bed. Honey, please don't do this. Every single mistake is my fault. You're targeting me. Sun Hao shouted from the side. There was a hint of pleading and anger in the voice. I turned my head, staring at Sun Hao coldly. Sun Hao, when you chose to betray us, one should think of it beforehand. All of myself in this world, everything comes with a price. I ignored their pleas and cries anymore. I took my bag and walked out of the ward. The cold morning wind blew against my face, dispelled the smell of disinfectant on my body. It also dried the tears on my face. I stood on the empty street, watching the light of dawn gradually appear on the horizon, let out a long sigh. My revenge was successful. They received the punishment they deserved, even worse than I imagined. But why does my heart feel empty? It hurts like a piece of flesh has been ripped out with force. Sun Hao ruined his reputation and health. And our marriage too. Chun Meng ruined his future, dignity, and entire life. And though I personally punished the traitors, yet he also tore his daughter to shreds with his own hands. A once happy and fulfilling childhood. I know the days to come will be difficult. I'll raise you all alone. These costs are not only those that the betrayers must bear, it's also something that I, as the victim, must bear along with them. But this is the price of growing up, I suppose. I touched Yuayu's delicate little face. In my heart, I silently said to myself, Li Qing, don't be afraid, the road is still long. It's already daylight. Some relationships, once they go bad, one must forget it with their own hands. Even if it breaks my heart in two, even if it's covered in blood, it's better than spending a lifetime in pain, watching a rotting corpse. Do you believe in karma? At the age of 18, I eloped with my 35-year-old tutor. In the end, he chose to run away like a dog. Many years later, I've received my just desserts. My name is Lin Zichen.
He's a rich second-generation heir.
Life before the age of 18 is like an open instruction manual. living in Lujiazui, Shanghai, and attending an international school. Everything that my parents planned for me. It's really boring to me. Really, if you ask me, what was the craziest thing I did when I was 18? I'll tell you. It wasn't driving at 180 miles per hour in the dead of night. It's not like I spent 100,000 yuan in one night at a bar either. It's that I fell in love with my tutor, who was 17 years older than me. When my mom led him into the study, I'm discussing with my good friends on my phone right now. Which bar to go tonight? Zishan, this is Teacher Sun. My mom's tone carried a last trace of patience. Learn well, I'll lift my head. The prepared impatience gets stuck in my throat. He stood at the boundary between light and shadow. No heavy makeup or fancy decorations. Simply pure and clean, like plain, bland water. Fair skin. She wore a very light pink lip gloss. Simple white shirt, paired with a washed-out pair of jeans. The ponytail was tied with great precision. He has very big eyes. Yet, there was a hint of fatigue in her eyes. Hello, his voice is very low. But it's very sweet. Hello, I replied lazily. But in my heart, I was thinking, which fairy is trying to act so innocent again? First class. I knew he was different. I deliberately spilled the brown liquid from the coffee. He dirtied his lesson plans and cuffs. He didn't scream or frown. Just calmly took out a tissue. Wiped the lesson plan first. Wipe the sleeves again. Then look up at me. Gaze is indifferent, flat. Can we now have class properly? He opened a clean notebook again. There's no hint of any emotion in the tone of voice either. He explained everything in great detail. The pronunciation is standard English. The accent is really pleasant to hear. But I still get distracted. When distracted, I'd stare at her long eyelashes. Look at her delicate fingers. Her beautiful profile when she occasionally looks out the window. I couldn't help but ask Teacher Sun how old you are. Her nose twitched 35 times. I don't think so either. At most 27 or 28. He smiled faintly. Didn't respond. But there's still a hint of the years at the corners of the eyes. That moment, for the first time, I could clearly feel my own heartbeat. It's not just because he's good looking. And that faint sadness in his eyes. From that day on, I'm looking forward to him teaching me. I'd even have the aunt prepare the fruit tea in advance. Because he drank 2 glasses on his first day. I guess he's in love. He doesn't approach girls with ulterior motives like other girls do. But I want to take the initiative to get closer to him. I've started to enjoy listening to his lectures. Listening to him tell me stories about college. I admit I'm tempted. Really, I started asking him some personal questions, tentatively at first. Ask him why he's still not married. He simply shook his head slightly. I just want to make more money now. Let's talk about getting married later. Later, I invited him to dinner. He refused my offer to drive him home. He said it wasn't necessary. I sent him a message. He also replied very slowly. The more he does this, the more obsessed I become. The birds and butterflies around me suddenly became uninteresting. They're too noisy, too purposeful, too goal-oriented, and he was like a landscape painting. It makes me unable to resist the urge to explore. Want to get closer. It took me a full 3 months to pursue her. That was the most patient I've ever been in my 18 years of life. It was also the most awkward period of time. I'm no longer showing off my superpowers at home. I've even started to actually learn English. Just so she'd praise me a little more. I asked about things she might like. It's not bags or jewelry. It's a certain book. It's a record by some obscure band. Or a pothos that's easy to take care of. The turning point happened on a rainy night, after class ended. It's been raining heavily late into the night. I insisted on taking her home myself. She lives in a faraway residential complex in Pudong. Along the way, we chatted casually from time to time. When it's almost here, he suddenly said softly, Lin Zichen, don't waste your time on me. I asked him why. He looked out the car window at the rain and said, I'm 35. You're 18. We're from completely different worlds anyway. I blurted out that I didn't mind. I don't care how old you are. He glanced back at me. That look was extremely complicated. There's scrutiny and hesitation. There's also a kind of pain that I can't understand. In the end, he said nothing at all, pushed open the car door and rushed into the rain. After that, he didn't seem to resist me as much. Let me take him to the entrance of the residential complex. Occasionally, they reply with messages that are a bit longer. Another month has passed. On New Year's Eve, I got almost a perfect score on the test. In exchange, I got a chance for him to have dinner with me. It's not some fancy restaurant. It's just a pretty ordinary local-style restaurant. He ate very slowly. The expression remains indifferent as always. When I took him downstairs, I mustered the courage to take his hand. She struggled slightly before stopping. Son, Lena, I'm serious. My full name for her. So solemn, as if taking an oath. She looked up at me in the snowlight. Tiny water droplets clung to the eyelashes. I've been looking at it for a long time. Just when I thought I'd be rejected again. Then she nodded very, very gently. At that moment, the sky was filled with cold snow. It's as though a scorching flower has suddenly bloomed in my heart. I happily picked her up in my arms, circled around and around in the snow. Her eyes curved into smiles. It was the first time I saw her with an expression that wasn't indifferent at all. That's it. We secretly fell in love behind our parents' backs. I'll be there when he teaches me. Secretly holding his hand under the table, I spent several hours on video calls with him at night. He never takes the initiative to ask me for things. I gave him money. Just one time. 50,000 per month? He absolutely refused at first. Please just let me feel at ease, okay? I want to be good to you. This is the only way I know how to do it. He remained silent for a long time before accepting it. Murmured a thank you. That thank you. It made my heart ache to hear that. Gradually, he spent more time with me. Our most common meeting places. It was his small but tidy rental apartment. He'll cook for me. The simplest scrambled eggs with tomatoes, green vegetable and tofu soup. But that was the most delicious meal I've ever eaten. I sat on that small sofa, watching her busy figure in the apron in front of the stove. It's a sense of happiness I've never experienced before. She smelled faintly of soap, mixed with a hint of cooking fumes. She spoke slowly and then laughed. Cover the mouth with the back of the hand. When she looked at me, the tiredness in my eyes seems to have lessened a bit. There's more of a soft, gentle light now. We sit together and chat. He rarely talks about himself. Listen to me more. Listen to my troubles, my boredom, my confusion about the future. He would gently pat my back and say, You're still young. There's still a long way to go, once again. I lay on his lap. Sunlight streamed in through the windows. I suddenly said, Nana, wait until I grow up a little more. Let's get married. How nice are his hands as they touch my hair. Paused for a long while. I heard his very, very soft voice, like a foolish sire. Your parents won't agree to it. I said I don't care about them. His voice was very soft, Lindsaysian. I just want to be with you properly right now. How did it turn out? I don't care. My heart sank, but held him even tighter. I know. The gap between us isn't just about age. But I thought, as long as I'm firm enough, that's all it takes to give her a future. She was the first woman I truly loved. For the first time, I truly longed to grow up. The afternoon when our parents found us together. It all started with a slap from my father. How old were you in the prologue? Do you even know what you're doing? My mom's hands were trembling with anger. I'll break off relations with him right away. It was my mom who gave me the ultimatum. My dad was standing with his back to me in front of the floor-to-ceiling window. The voice was as cold as ice. Starting tomorrow, there's no need for that teacher to come anymore. Just stay at home and be honest. Otherwise, I won't give you another penny. And that's how I was taken away. The phone was left at home. But his face is all I can think about. I'm afraid my parents will give him trouble. Afraid that he'll be bullied. 3 days later, in the early morning, I tied the bedsheet into a rope and slid down from the second-floor balcony. Sprained my ankle upon landing, but I didn't stop. Hobbled along to the roadside to hail a car. It wasn't yet dawn when I knocked on his door. He was startled by me. I explained the whole situation to him. He told me to go home at dawn. He said he had known all along that this would be the outcome. But I don't believe it. I hugged him tightly. I say I'd rather die with him in this lifetime. Later, in order to prevent my parents from finding me, I eloped with him to Hangzhou. My first month in Hangzhou, we rented a small apartment with a view of a part of West Lake. I swear that I'm determined to start my own business. Give her a real future. She watched me eagerly pointing around on the map. There's a complexity in her eyes that I can't understand. It's like showing tenderness, compassion. It's as though I've already met something before. Second month, I began to realize that talent isn't enough to make a living. What I call a business plan. Frail like paper in the face of reality. I can't even figure out the process for obtaining a business license. And his meager savings were quickly depleted. Third month, we moved to an old neighborhood far from the tourist areas. The room is small and damp. There are water stains from the rainy season on the walls. He's taking on more and more tutoring jobs. Leave early and return late. Often when I get back and am tired, I don't even feel like talking. The dishes on the dinner table are becoming increasingly simple. Red bell peppers stir-fried with eggs are appearing more and more frequently. At first, that dish still carried the warmth of love. He said to eat slowly. There's nothing left in the pot that I could eat. Think this is the most delicious thing in the world. Later, those shades of red and yellow were too harsh for my eyes. He's like a silent reminder. Reminds me of my current awkward situation. Reminds me of the vast difference between my past life and now. I started to be picky. Too much salt was added. The eggs were overcooked. Can we try something different? My words are like knives. He always listened in silence. My irritability is increasing day by day. I hate the arguments of the couple next door. I hate the musty smell that never goes away in the stairwells. I hate the way his eyebrows furrow slightly when he calculates the utility bills. I hate even more the version of myself who does nothing. Go look for a job. Can't be satisfied with either the high or the low. Can't do physical labor. No skills for mental work. I'm like an animal trapped in a transparent cage, looking at those once brilliant lights outside, which once belonged to me, yet unable to break through this barrier. I started to lose my temper with him, getting furious over such a trivial matter, complaining about the environment, complaining about fate, complain about everything. He never retorts, just looking at me with those tired eyes quietly. Then continue with what I'm currently doing. Washing dishes, mopping the floor, grading homework. His silence sometimes breaks me more than arguments do. There's a profound understanding within it, like how adults tolerate children's unreasonable behavior. This fills me with shame, and then became even angrier. Breaking bowls happened on a sweltering evening. Again, scrambled eggs with tomatoes, served with a clear soup. Accumulated resentment. It reached its peak the moment that dish was served on the table. I waved my hand violently. The plate flew out. Blast open the wall. The soup and egg pieces splattered everywhere. He stood there, frozen. The face turned pale instantly. A few seconds later, he slowly crouched down to pick up the pieces. The shards cut his fingertips. Blood beads immediately appeared. Drops onto the dirty floor. At that moment, I admitted my incompetence. I also admitted that I couldn't live like this. I start to miss my old life. Desperately want to get away from here. Finally, that night, I chose to run away like a cowardly turtle that hides its head. In the early morning, he huddled on the small double bed. I quietly picked up my coat and the few $100 in the drawer. I boarded the high-speed train back to Shanghai like a fugitive. Along the way, that old phone kept vibrating in my pocket nonstop. The screen lit up again and again. It's all his name. I don't dare to look. In the end, I simply turned off the device. The scenery outside the car window rushed past in reverse, just like my hasty first love, and the utterly ineffective responsibilities one has to bear. Back to Shanghai. Parents didn't blame them too much. Just arranged for me to go abroad as soon as possible. Cut off everything from the past. I shoved that old phone deep into the drawer. Put a tiny lock on it. It seems like that's the case. It would lock away those memories that fill me with shame. In the new life abroad, I strive to be a competent international student, dating a girlfriend from a comparable social background. Learn how to manage your finances. His time in Hangzhou, gradually fading into a faint trace, scars that one doesn't want to touch. I thought, time has already done the forgetting and forgiving for me. Until later. My wife and I, who are from similar social backgrounds, have never been able to conceive. When going to the hospital for a checkup, I was diagnosed with congenital asthenospermia. The chances of natural conception are extremely low. A blank paper with a black diagnosis note. The cold verdict ended my chances of being a father. Almost zero. In the clinic, the doctor reassured me that it was just a low probability. It doesn't mean there's no possibility at all. As long as there's scientific treatment, there's still hope. I looked at my wife's calm profile. He even took my hand in his own and said it was okay. We can think of other ways. A few days later, while cleaning the house, my wife found something that had been locked in a drawer all those years ago. I took the phone from him. I tried to connect it to the power source. The screen actually turned on. Many long-forgotten memories are beginning to surface. 127 unread messages. And the last one says I'm pregnant. Like a bullet that arrives too late, hitting the exact center of the forehead. The past that I deliberately tried to forget rushes back at me. Those pieces of information were incomplete and fragmented. Initial inquiries, anxious and worried. Then there's the long wait. Rather than going from anticipation to anxiety, not a single complaint though. Last one. It's the 12th day since I fled. Just 4 simple words. I'm pregnant. My vision goes black. I stare fixedly at those 4 words. Tears involuntarily wetted my eyes. In that instant, all the details that I deliberately downplayed, coming in overwhelming force. Her increasingly pale complexion, the way she occasionally covers her mouth and rushes into the bathroom, the cautious worry in her eyes, as if she wanted to say something but hesitated. It turns out that everything leaves a trace. It was simply ignored out of my selfishness. I'm hiding in the study. When dialing that number again, my hands are shaking. But what came through the phone was just a cold, busy signal. It turns out that at the moment I chose to run away, I not only abandoned love, it's also possible that one will forever miss their own flesh and blood. The moments when a man is most needed by a woman. I held the phone that had long since stopped working. I'm shivering all over. So many years have passed. I can't imagine it. How did he manage to do it all by himself back then? Enduring my sudden departure without a word, and facing that child who appeared out of nowhere. How scared he must be. How desperate. Is that child still alive today? I never believed in karma or retribution before. And at this moment, I know very clearly. This is my retribution.